welcome to the Upper East Side. If you're wondering if we are going to explore every neighborhood in New York City, well, that's the plan at least, to get you a feel, an idea of what it's like to live in New York City, but also to walk, to explore all the different areas and boroughs. Right now, I'm on my way to Ralph's Coffee. This is a cafe that's located inside one of Ralph Lauren's stores here on the Upper East Side. It's become really popular, more than ever, I would say, in the past few months, few years. I don't know if you remember, but during Vlogmas, I showed you the huge line outside, which is why I recommend that if you can come on a weekday during the morning, that's ideal. That's when it's less crowded, less crazy. If you can avoid coming during the weekend, then that's the best. And after having coffee, having a little breakfast, I am going to the Met Museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, because their new exhibition with the Custom Institute has just opened. The Met Gala was just a few days ago, so the new exhibition is now live. You can visit it. So I wanted to go, not only to see it for myself, but also to be able to show it to all of you. I know a lot of you following the channel and following me on Instagram are huge fans of everything fashion, so I'm sure you're gonna like that exhibition. So that is the plan for today, for our day exploring the Upper East Side. And if you're new here, of course, go ahead, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell so you can get notified of every time I upload a new video. And you can also go ahead and follow me on Instagram as Pereira, as you're gonna see right here. With all that said, let's get started and welcome to a new vlog. Let's go!
Give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes. You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here, I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer, I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are. you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. Promise you won't leave my side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love. Tell me what you wanna do. I'll do anything. As long as I can be here with you, everything's alright. I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love, love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love.
tide. Let the water go where it wants to go. You can run and hide. You can bury yourself beneath the stone. Somebody told me don't pretend, 'cause everyone could use a friend sometimes. Take some good advice. Don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry. Somebody is waiting down the line to pick up the pieces. Hey, you'll be alright. I can feel the sun and how the wind makes way across the fields. Let me take a breath. Let me be a part of something real. Someone said it's better when you hold on to a helping hand. Sometimes we could all use a friend. Don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry. Somebody's waiting down the line to pick up the pieces. Hey, you'll be alright. You'll be alright. Waiting down the line. So don't let your fear decide. That's how you break inside. You don't need to worry. Somebody's waiting down the line to pick up the pieces. Hey, you'll be alright. There will be someone waiting down the line.
So I just left the Met Museum and I wanted to do like a recap of the exhibition now that it's like very, very fresh in my mind. So first of all, the Met Museum. Personally, I think that if you are visiting New York for the first time or if you're going to be here for just a few days, for me, the Met Museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, is the most iconic one and the one that I personally recommend if you only have the time and the energy to go to just one museum in New York, then make it the Met Museum. I've been to the Met Museum multiple times, a lot more times than I've been to any other museum in the city, and I think that tells you a lot. It is huge. There are a lot of things that you can visit, that you can experiment. Not only the building itself is beautiful, it's located in the heart of Central Park, so you can also visit the area like the Upper East Side and Central Park right before or right after. And I feel like it's probably one of the most iconic ones. This time I was there for the Sleeping Beauties Reawakening Fashion exhibit. It's the one that is done by the Costume Institute of the Met Museum and that changes every year, opens right after after the Met Gala, which is the first Monday of May. So this exhibition opened less than a week ago. And since I'm guessing you watching this video and most people visiting the museum right now, especially in May, I want to give you some tips about this exhibition and about planning your visit. First of all, I would say to give yourself time. I was going into the museum thinking, okay, I'm just going to see this and then I'm out. But once you are inside, there are QR codes almost everywhere that you can scan and you get on a virtual line. So you cannot enter the exhibit right away. You actually need to make this virtual line, which when we entered like around lunchtime, it was an hour wait. So on one hand, it's great because it gives you time to see everything else that there is to see in the museum if you want. I mean, not everything, of course. You would need like several hours and several days to really visit everything. But it gives you time to maybe go to your favorite places. For me, those favorites are the Temple of Tandoor, the American Wing, and the patio, also the exhibit of the European sculpture. So those are my favorites and the ones that I really wanted to visit now that I had this hour. But don't forget to get on this virtual line as soon as you enter the museum. Or also if you're like arriving into the museum, you need to have your location enabled because you cannot like start the line when you're at your hotel in Midtown. But if you're nearby, you can definitely join. I'll leave the link to the virtual line down below in the description and also a QR code on the screen that you can scan to join the queue. So definitely do that as soon as you enter and take advantage of that hour that you have in the museum to either visit some exhibits or maybe grab lunch or grab a coffee, something like that inside the museum. So that would be my first tip. Go with time, join the line, and take advantage of that extra time that you have in a way. Once you are inside the exhibition, note that if you're coming in May or maybe also in June, it is one of the most popular exhibits inside the museum. It's the newest one. It also doesn't last for that long. It opens in May and then it closes in September. So there are just like a few months where you can visit it. So of course, a lot of people have the same idea that I had, that maybe you have if you're watching this video and planning your visit. So expect it to be very, very crowded. I did my best when filming clips inside the exhibition not to show anyone around, almost, only like just a few people, but that's not the reality. The reality is that you're not bumping into each other, but there's a lot of people. Trust me, there's like way too many people. And even though they do their best effort to only letting like a group of people and only once another group of people leaves the exhibition, it's very, very crowded. Some of the hallways are very narrow, so you're literally like right next to each other. So be patient in that sense. Be prepared and expect it to be crowded because it's the exhibit right now to visit at the Met Museum. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is not really a tip, but more about the exhibition itself. It's called Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion. And I feel like there are like 2 or 3 main themes I would say in this exhibition. One of them has to do with the role of the Costume Institute of the Met Museum and really how when a piece of clothing, a garment enters the Costume Institute, it becomes a piece of art and not something that can be worn again by someone else. So you're going to see a lot of garments, a lot of dresses that maybe were worn many years, decades, or centuries ago, and now they're only there to be shown in a gallery because no one can wear them again because otherwise they would get destroyed because they're very fragile. That's why you see some of the garments, of the gowns laying down like in a sleeping position, like the Sleeping Beauty, because they cannot actually be shown into a mannequin because of their fragile condition. So that's like one of the main themes and topics of the exhibit. Another one of the topics of the exhibit has to do with the technology used to make garments, to make dresses, what materials and things people used in the 1700 or 1800, and what things you can use nowadays. So you'll see older garments being made with silk, for example, and then you'll see some new ones that have like 3D printed parts. So I also think that they try to show how technology like intertwines with fashion, and also they try to use technology throughout the exhibition, that you have 3D models that move and that you can see like how a garment would move, a garment that, as I mentioned before, can only be shown like laying down. So you can see in this like 3D models how they would have moved when people were able to wear them. And they also use technology to show you how certain garments used to smell, how certain people used to smell back in the day. So I think they did a great job when it comes to making something different and making an exhibition that's more like sensorial. I think that's the word, where you can like not only see things, but also touch things, also smell things. So I feel like that's a great idea. And the third topic of this exhibit has to do with nature, how nature has influenced the creation of garments throughout history. So as you saw on the clips that I shot inside the museum, we are talking about butterflies and birds and the sea and insects, and how all those things influence designers when creating gowns, when creating garments, how some of those pieces were taken like literally, you know, like you see these headpieces with actual dead birds, which I didn't like at all, but yeah, you see them, or with actual like feathers, and then you see and then you see some other garments that are more inspired by things in nature, like blue when it comes to the sea, or maybe some others that have this butterflies and like a 3D butterfly effect. So you really do feel this like sense of nature and how nature is combined with fashion, even when they tell that at one point gardening and embroidery were like very mixed and intertwined, because things that you could see in gardens like flowers were used as inspiration for embroidery. So I feel like if you like fashion and you love going to these exhibits where you can see gowns from many years ago, but also from like nowadays, you're really going to love this exhibit. You can see some pieces that you would probably recognize, like a dress worn in the movie The Hunger Games, or dresses that have been worn on the red carpet, but then some others from the 1700s that we certainly like do not remember seeing them on TV or anything. Overall, I really like this exhibit. If I had to make a recommendation, I would say that if you can, definitely skip this first few days or a few weeks. I feel like this is going to be the busiest the rest of May and June. As I mentioned before, I feel like July and August are probably going to be more calm when it comes to this exhibit in particular. They're summer months, they're the busiest months in New York City, but I feel like probably the craziness about this exhibition in particular might not be as it is right now, so it should be more calm. But then again, August, which is going to be the last month that it's going to be shown, and then the first few days of September, I feel like then a lot of people are also going to come in and try to see it before it closes. So that would be like my personal recommendation. I'm sure there are like better times to visit it. I thought that lunchtime would be ideal because everyone would be having lunch, and apparently everyone had the same idea. I don't know if it's less busy early in the mornings or maybe late evenings right before the museum closes. If you have any tips, if you have visited it and you feel like it's less crowded at any certain points, definitely let me know down below in the comments. I really hope you like this new video, this new vlog. About a month ago, I decided that I would finally do what I've been talking about doing for so many months, maybe over a year, which is to go out and explore the city and show more of the city that I love so much, that is New York City, and show that through my vlogs, show that through my YouTube channel. I feel like I've been showing a lot of New York City through my Instagram for years now, but here on YouTube I hadn't shown as much, or I would do lots of vlogs around the city, but also around the events that I would get invited to, or the things that I would do when it comes to like my influencer job. I really like making this vlog. I know that at times maybe there might be not the most popular ones, but I really like making them. I really love going on these solo dates, or maybe meeting with a friend, getting to explore a coffee shop or have lunch, visit a museum, walk around town, and show all that love that I feel that I have for the city. Show that through my screen, through my camera, and then through these videos on YouTube. So I really hope you like this vlog. If that is the case, of course, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and you can also go ahead, follow me on Instagram as Pereira, as you're going to see over here. That is going to be it for today's video, and as I always say, I will see you on the next one. Bye!